Today's presenter, Craig Tarian. Craig joined Dassault Systèmes SolidWorks Corporation as a product manager for SolidWorks in 2005. With over 22 years in the CAD industry, he's been a designer, a consultant, a CAD product manager, and a company co-founder. He has his BSME from WPI as a graduate of the General Electric Manufacturing Development Program. Welcome, Craig, and thank you for joining us today. It's all yours.
Thanks, Amy, and welcome everyone. Today we're going to try to cover rather quickly, in 22 minutes, the essentials of SolidWorks. So what this will basically be is an overview of the product offerings in SolidWorks, and then kind of a deep dive more into the part creation, drawing creation, and assembly creation aspects of SolidWorks. So we'll be going over basically a little bit about business challenges, SolidWorks the product, SolidWorks the company, about some of our customers so you can get a feel for what some of our customers do, and then we'll get into the details in a demonstration of SolidWorks. First, before we get into it though, we have a couple of polling questions. This is question number 1. Please choose the type of design tool that you currently use. So the options here are we mainly use SolidWorks right now. We mainly use 2D CAD tools. We mainly use 3D CAD tools, but not SolidWorks. We mainly make drawings and design documentation by hand, or I do not currently use any formal design tools. So if you could click on the answers that most fit what you do, that would be great.
Okay, great. Here are the results. Looks like almost 40% of you mainly use SolidWorks, which is great already. 25% use 2D CAD tools, 23% use 3D CAD tools, not SolidWorks, and a couple do other things.
Okay, great. So let's talk a little bit about business challenges. So everybody out there, we've all heard innovate. Let's try to get out of this bad economy by innovating new technologies and new designs. But when it comes down to it, innovation takes a lot of different phases. It can be, how do I make my product cheaper? How do I make my product more reliable? How do I make my product more aesthetically pleasing or more easy to use? But in the end, you're always balancing a couple of things when you're talking about designing products, and especially when you're trying to make major redesigns, is the two major drivers tend to be the cost associated with that product, whether it's manufacturing cost or design cost or other costs that can be associated with developing products, and also the time it takes to develop that product and get it to market. So you're always playing kind of a balancing act between the two. And what SolidWorks helps you to do is kind of balance some of these things and eliminate some of the costs and eliminate and kind of decrease time to market during your product development cycle. So let's look at a typical product development cycle. All right. Typically, most people right now use a sequential or a serial development process where they have some kind of conceptual design, or they develop their initial specifications. They get it, eventually move into detailed design. After the detailed design, they move into design validation. Now, a lot of times that takes the form of physical prototypes and testing. So you have to manufacture your product and test it. And then technical documentation. That may be user guides, or it may be information for the shop floor for manufacturing. And all this information, migrates its way in the manufacturing operations. So how can SolidWorks help to, both decrease the time and save you money? Well, the way we do that is by enabling a development process that is what the industry term is concurrent. So in other words, you can do a lot more things at the same time versus having to do them sequentially and serially. So you can be doing your product design, you can be doing design validation, and we're talking design validation on the computer versus having to build physical prototypes. You can be building your technical communication documentation. Your manufacturing CAM programming can happen at the same time. And you can also, to manage all this, you have a product data management system that ensures that you have the right release level, that you don't have the wrong drawings going to the shop floor and things like that. So we're going to talk a little about this today. And one of the things that SolidWorks offers is the ability to make better design decisions earlier. By having these capabilities, design validation, technical communication, and product data management, we're able to have this information during the design phase when major design changes are a lot cheaper to make versus downstream in manufacturing where things are going to get a lot more expensive, or heaven forbid if you actually get to the shop floor at your customer and you have to go out there and make some fixes where the prices go through the roof at that point. So the idea is to reduce costs, to reduce time by making better design decisions earlier in the process. So what kind of tools does SolidWorks have to help you out in this effort? Well, we have our design tools in the lower left-hand corner there. Those are basically your part modeling, your drawing creation, assembly creation, your traditional design tools, both 2D and 3D. Then we have on the upper right-hand corner, we have simulation. Now, this is our way of replacing or at least significantly reducing the amount of physical prototypes you have to do. You can test your assemblies and your designs in the computer to see if they'll break, to see what the life cycle on them will be, to test movement and test, in selecting electronic components like motors and things like that and actuators. We also have the ability to check the environmental impact of your designs because that's becoming more and more critical with certain products right now, especially in the consumer product area. Also, managing your data is critical, knowing that you have the right revision of your product, whether you're in design or if you're in simulation or if you're in manufacturing. And then delivering better product or better information to your users, to people in the field, to salespeople, better marketing data, better user manuals, all right? All that information, creating a better version of that, maybe even the content that you have on your website if you want to have your customers come in and have an interactive session with your product online. All of these things are part of our package that we call better communication tools. So these are all the tools that SolidWorks has to help you meet that and decrease your product development cycle. Okay, and as far as what kinds of products our customers use or design, we're everywhere in industry. Our strongest area is industrial equipment, which is machines and industrial equipment. Business services is big. It's engineering service firms, people who contract out their services to design products. Consumer packaged goods, high tech, medical is one of the hottest industries for SolidWorks right now. You find us in aerospace. You find us in tooling, mold, tool, and die especially. So construction, all these areas are areas that SolidWorks has a significant impact in. Okay, so just as an example, of, so you get a visual on some of the types of products that our customers design. Machining area, this is a bottling machine right here. This product is actually designed by Fog Filler. You can see it has a lot of parts, so 15,000 unique parts. So SolidWorks is great at handling not only machine design, but also very large assemblies. Medical devices, so you have a lot of plastic parts, you have a lot of small intricate parts, you have routed wiring and tubing and everything like that in these products. SolidWorks is helping Cineris Medical to cut its development costs by 25%, design errors by 30%, fabrication costs by 50%, and as a result of that, business is better at Cineris. Their sales per year have gone up over 400% due to new products they're able to get on the market at the right cost and getting them to market faster. Consumer products, again, very complex watch by Frank Mueller. We're talking a $2.5 million watch here with over 1,500 components. So you can see the intricacy that some of our customers demand from SolidWorks in their designs. Consumer products, nice shapes, aesthetic designs. Fender musical instruments, saw a 20% production time drop. And other consumer product companies, in this case it's Burton Snowboards. Burton's been a customer for a while, make very aesthetically pleasing parts, but very complex plastic parts to design and manufacture. All right, last is Baker Drivetrain in the automotive and vehicle space. They actually make transmissions for large motorcycle cruiser market. So what is SolidWorks today? So SolidWorks today is almost 2 million users, almost 170,000 customers in about 80 countries. So we have one focus. There's one thing that SolidWorks does. We focus on design, all aspects of design. Before we go on with the presentation, I have two more questions I want to ask. The first one is, which describes your job? Which describes the job you do most often? I know a lot of us wear multiple hats. So which one do you do most often?
We'll just give you guys a couple minutes to respond to this question. Again, this is your primary role at your company. Okay. And now if you could also respond with, if you wear multiple hats, what is your secondary job function? What do you do second most often?
And if you don't have another, if you don't have another job function, just skip the question. And sorry, we were limited to 5 answers, so if none of these fit, just don't answer the question, and I'll know it's other.
Okay. So it looks like most of you guys are mechanical engineers and product designers, machine designers, and that's really our wheelhouse here at SolidWorks. So great that you guys could attend today. And in the second secondary function that you guys had, it was mostly CAD admin. So it looks like there's a really strong overlap between those two.
Great. All right. So getting into a little more detail about the SolidWorks products. So basically, again, before we get into the demonstration, we have products for mechanical CAD design. This is part assembly drawing creation. This is the documentation that goes to the shop floor. It's the very aesthetically pleasing photorealistic 3D models that you can create, and images and animations. We have tools for communicating to manufacturing to your customers. We have manufacturability checks, meaning check for draft for molds, and check to see if, when you're machining a part, to see if it's manufacturable or not. We even have automatic cost estimation included kind of in this mechanical CAD package. Then there's the simulation and sustainability group of products, where these are the products that help you to make products that are more reliable, last longer, they perform better. You can significantly reduce the amount of physical prototypes that you have to make. And on the sustainability side, check for the environmental impact of your designs before they get out, out to manufacturing and out to your customers. Third, 3D via Composer product, which is the group of products for creating great technical communications. So better quality technical documentation. It reuses all the data that you pull out of SolidWorks. So you don't have to build this data. You use the models that are created in SolidWorks by the engineers. It can be used by either CAD or non-CAD users too. This product is very easy to use, even for people who do graphic design even. And third is the management tool, Enterprise PDM, which allows you to be widely distributed, have multiple locations, and still manage your products, your projects, and your release cycles. Okay, and finally, I wanted to just mention solution partners. We have over 800 solution partners. Think of them like apps, like for the iPhone, right? These are the apps that tie into SolidWorks, and I wanted to highlight specifically our CAM solution providers, especially the ones that we call our gold partners. They're fully integrated into SolidWorks. This is very key today. If you go to our website and look at CAD CAM Slam, if you do a search on that, you'll get videos. We did, there are 8 fully integrated CAM software packages for SolidWorks. That means if I make a change to my design, the CAM paths will update automatically. I can automatically update my toolpaths. The key to that is instantly out of the box, you're getting about a 25% boost between design and manufacturing because you don't have to export the data. So it's really worth looking into the manufacturing partners that we have out there. also for mold design, progressive die, and everything else that's out there, and inspection too. So these are some big names out there. You might even have some of these CAM packages already. You know, look into that. It's a big time saver for SolidWorks users. All right. Finally, you have a huge community of people out there, like we mentioned before, almost coming up on 2 million users, 800 solution partners, 300 resellers around the world. These are individual companies. These are the people who sell SolidWorks and are able to go and help you locally on site. And you also have access to SolidWorks tech support 24/7 a day, and also 55,000 SolidWorks certified engineers. So when you're looking to hire people or contract people, you can see if they're certified by SolidWorks. They've taken the tests that say yes, they've passed the test, and they have the skills to use SolidWorks. Okay, so let's take a look at SolidWorks in action. I'm going to bring up a video that I've kind of put together here on SolidWorks. And what we're going to be looking at is basically parts, assemblies, and drawings. Okay, so I have this Hamaltro spreader. It's a device that's used for when people get into car crashes for opening up the crumpled metal, basically, and getting inside. And what we want to do is finish the design of this part. We're going to add the link that goes between the spreader mechanism, the jaw, and the plunger portion of that design. So right now I'm in part mode, and you see that it's very similar to if you're just sketching in 2D, you know, whether you're doing it on paper or you're doing it in a 2D CAD tool. The difference is this is a parametric sketcher, which means that we apply dimensions to the model, and those dimensions actually drive the shapes. You can create relationships like I did with those two circles where I said they're the same diameter. And then once you create the section, you can just pull that geometry out in what the functionality we call instant 3D. So go instantly from your 2D shape to your 3D shape. You can also create drag and drop features like fillets you see here, and you can resize them right there in the solid model. Maybe you want to create other features like cuts. You can pull out a symmetric box section right here. And you can just either, if you extrude up, it adds material. If you extrude down, it's going to create a cut. So the instant 3D capabilities allow you to work directly on the part geometry. I'm going to add some fillets here, and I'm going to clean up the part. Now what I want to do is add a threaded section, because this is going to thread into the plunger. I'm just going to pull out an extrusion here. I sketched directly on that face. I'm going to place some of our standard hole features. We call them hole wizard holes. And here I'm picking a specific size thread that I want, and it automatically places that hole and gives me a view of what the thread looks like. I can do the same thing for external threads. And I can also create features, library features we call them, where you can create them ahead of time and drag and drop them onto the model. So here I'm creating a relief for those threads at the base of the clevis. Okay? You notice that as I'm working, I never have to jump around on the screen. Most of the picks that I need to make are right there in front of me on the screen. We call that in-context user interface, or a pop-up user interface, where it's very easy to get to all that information. So now I have my design and I want to document it. So I'm going to go into SolidWorks drawings. I'm going to save my part first, and then I'm going to open up a drawing. I have a series of formats I can pick from. I've selected a C-size format, and I can drag and drop all the views of my part from our design palette, or our view palette, into the drawing. It's very easy to go in and create dimensions, or I could bring in all those dimensions and reuse those dimensions that I created during the part creation. Most of the time in drawing mode is spent usually detailing and cleaning up your design, adding notes, things like that. SolidWorks has a lot of tools to help make that job a lot easier. One of the tools that we have is the ability to do rapid dimensioning. So you can go in, the tool that we're seeing here, rapid dimensioning, where you can go in and easily, automatically organize the way the dimensions are shown on a drawing. Even when I delete dimensions that were already placed, it automatically reorganizes the positioning of all the dimensions to keep it neat and clean. At any time, I can go and make dimensional changes to the drawing, which also affect the 3D model. We call that bidirectional associativity, the ability to make a change in the model and show the difference in the drawing, or make a change to the drawing and show the difference on the part. So you can go either way. I'm going to take this part now, bring it into my assembly, and I'm going to assemble it in. I'm using some smart assembly capabilities of SolidWorks to automatically mate certain surfaces together. There's also a search tool in SolidWorks. Think of it as Google for SolidWorks, where you can go in and type in information about a part, and we'll find it no matter where it is on your system. I found the part, I dragged it in, and using that intelligent mating capability, I'm able to drop that part in. I'm also able to grab other library parts that I have and drag and drop them in. Here I have some pins. I want to add next a snap ring, which I'm also getting out of my library. Now you notice the snap ring automatically resizes to the part. It has that capability where it says this is the best fit snap ring for that particular part. So you don't have to waste all that time resizing the pin manually. You can also copy existing assembly components and replace them somewhere else in the model. I can, again, select different configurations also. So these are all time savers. Next, what happens when I have interference? Now you see the blue surface there. That's an interfering surface. As I moved the link, it interfered. I've made that correction in SolidWorks. Now when I make the motion, I don't interfere anymore. This is how you can correct interferences on the fly directly in SolidWorks so you don't find those things later on in manufacturing. We also have great productivity tools when it comes to mirroring, creating opposite side geometry. So here I've mirrored the entire assembly that I just put together, and I've mirrored it to the other side of the spreader. I've brought in the rest of the parts, and I'm going to now explode or create an exploded view of my model in 3D. This is really useful when you're showing people how to assemble the components together. You can even animate the assembly of these components and create a sequence. Now what I'd like to do is make another drawing. I'm going to use this assembly that we've just created and put it on a drawing. Again, I go to my view palette, I drag in my different views. I can do hidden line or shaded mode or whatever I want for different views. I can also say exploded views. You can do alternate views if you want, and you can add bills of material. So in this case, I've added an automatic bill of material to my drawing, and I can also automatically balloon note based on the bill of materials that I had. You see the balloons come in, they're very organized also. Here's the alternate view that I talked about before. So the spreader is in the closed state and also in the open state. So it's very quickly I'm able to go in and create this drawing and finish it off. And in the end, what you'd probably do to share this information with other people in your departments is to put this into PDM. Okay. The next thing I'd like to show is another video of our latest technology. It's called SolidWorks costing capability. And what SolidWorks costing is, during the design of a part or during the design of an assembly, you'll be able to see the costs that are associated with your design. And the way it works is basically it looks at your part and it figures out how to manufacture that part. And it actually creates kind of a process sheet. So let's see how that works. So I have a part here, a sheet metal part in my assembly. I'm going to open it up. And right away, when I go to sheet metal costing, in this case it's a sheet metal part, I get feedback in the bottom there in that green bar is showing me what the unit cost of that particular part is. I can make changes to material. I can make changes to part thickness. And you see on the left side, all the information about how that part will be manufactured comes up with associated costs. What's the advantage of this product? Well, it allows you to understand better what the actual cost of this part will be while you're designing. That way you can make better design decisions based on cost. So in this case, I might be looking at two alternative designs. And I can compare the two designs, one that has lightning holes and one doesn't in this case, and see which one's cheaper. You can also output reports. So if you're quoting or if you need to save that information for later on, you can save that as a Word document. Costing is driven by manufacturing templates, as you just saw. Basically like Excel spreadsheets with information about labor rates and other costs. You can also roll up costs in an assembly. So here I've rolled up my cost in my assembly so that I can see all of the costs of my entire assembly. Okay. So back to the PowerPoint. So hopefully that was an informative, I know it was a very quick demonstration of SolidWorks and one of the new capabilities called SolidWorks costing. And just as kind of a bit of a summary here before we get to our questions, just to go over what we covered. So we covered basically the main aspects of all SolidWorks products, the kind of that spider, which is design, simulate, communicate, sustain, and also management capabilities of SolidWorks. And as you saw in our products, they're very powerful, but they're also easy to use. We like people to focus on designing, not on learning how to use a CAD system. We have a huge community of support for SolidWorks, including the industry's leading resellers, the best resellers for any product that's out there. SolidWorks has over 300 resellers. There's resellers everywhere near you, so you can go online and find where the local reseller is for nearest to your company. And as far as education and new recruits coming out of colleges, we have a huge amount of universities and colleges that use SolidWorks. And finally, SolidWorks, has really made its mark on listening to our customers. All right, 90% of the enhancements that go into SolidWorks are customer-driven. We put out one release every year of SolidWorks. There's usually 4 or 5, improvements during that cycle. But most of those enhancements that go in are directly driven by our customers. So every day we're enhancing the tools